And welcome. You're watching Undercurrent, where you can find out what's been happening around Perth. I'm Lucy Marchant. Save the Children has been protecting kids all around Australia, providing them with access to education and health services. This week, they're holding a book sale to raise funds for their cause.
If you like books, here is the paradise. We are in the 52nd annual book sale for Save the Children. Undercurrent came along to have a look.
This year we're conducting what is our usual annual book sale, which we had to miss out on last year because we lost all our stocks from a flood in the street. But it's been very successful again, and the people of Perth have been very generous in donating so many books to us so that we can again stage this sale to raise funds for Save the Children. It's one of the important fundraisers for Save the Children in Western Australia, and interestingly we seem to be the major contributors compared with other states. So that's a point of pride for us, I think, that here in Western Australia we're really showing the rest of Australia how to raise money for a great cause. Every book is donated, and people are very generous with clearing out their books or turning over the number of books they have. So books are coming into our depot all year round. The funds go to programs and projects that Save the Children are running in Western Australia, largely in the Kimberley, but also we have a very successful program running in the southeast corridor of Perth. And a proportion of the takings that we raise here are also kept in case of need of an emergency. So anywhere in the world where Save the Children operates. We have about 30 or 40 members of Save the Children in our South of the River branch, and clearly we need a lot more helpers than that when it comes to book sale, and volunteers come from all over Perth to help us. So we get great support from the public, not only in the amount of books they donate and the amount of books they buy, but also in physical help with the actual moving around of books. For me personally, I've only been a member since about 2004, 2005, but some of our older members have been doing this for 40 years or more, from when it first started. So they really deserve recognition. And we do recognise their amazing efforts because they're ladies now in their 90s, but they're still coming.
Around 20. Yes, about 20 years. I think I go back to the 80s. I got involved with Save the Children through Ruth Reid, who was the patron of Save the Children at the time. It's quite addictive. Come in every week and sort in. I enjoy the fellowship of the other members and to know that you are helping.
It's the first time we came to this one in Cannington, but we went to, like every year, they have one at UWA, so we went to that one. Well, I've been to that one many times.
Yeah. Every year they had them. I think I've been 2 or 3 times. I tend to read more consistently if it's a paper, I think.
Yep, for sure. And if you don't have a tablet or whatever, you get to cart it around everywhere, more expensive and stuff. Like, for example, this place is very cheap, so you find some stuff you don't expect to find or you didn't think that you wanted or something like that. So that's always good when you stumble upon something which you didn't, you weren't looking for or anything like that. There's a whole bunch of books like classics and language books as well, and some books about religion as well.
Yeah. What do you have there?
Yeah, mainly classics and languages and history a bit.
Yeah, I love reading. I read a couple of books a week, and the kids have always read as well. So he, especially now that he's 8, will read a lot. And so he and my niece as well, they read all the time. So I thought I'd bring them down here, and they're pretty amazed at all the books that are here. They're more likely to read if they pick things that they want to read and they have an interest in. So I like to be able to do that. I usually go in to turn the light out, and he's got a book propped up and he's fallen asleep while reading with the lights still on. So we read for at least 30 minutes, 40 minutes every single night, and that's their routine before they go to bed, and they have their books that they read from school as well.
I really actually like every single book, so I don't really have a favourite because I like a lot of books. This is the first year.
The first year?
Yep,
What are you thinking about?
really good.
Are you having some fun?
Yep.
Maura Magalhães for Undercurrent.
The Perth Zoo was first opened in 1898 and is home to thousands of animals. This year it's welcomed more visitors than ever. Michael So with the report.
I'm here today at Perth Zoo, which has welcomed a record number of visitors in 2016. Danielle Henry is about to tell us why some 700,000 people have been walking through the gates of this popular tourist attraction. What's attracting people to walk through the gates and visit the zoo?
So our surge in visitation can be attributed to a number of things. We've had some new events that we hosted in the last financial year, including our popular Boo at the Zoo, our Halloween event, which is coming up again soon. We've got a whole host of different animal encounter experiences, so you can get up close to rhinoceroses, to giraffes, to elephants, and some of the native Western Australian species. And probably the biggest thing that created the surge in visitation was our dinosaur exhibition, Jurassic Park at Perth Zoo. That ran last year, and over the same time period we had a 25% increase in visitation. The dinosaurs were potted all throughout the zoo. There were different experiences, so you could get up close to the dinosaurs and learn about the dinosaurs, but also about the species that are similar to them in today's age, so that we can help stop the extinction of some of our species here today. We've also got a whole range of different animal encounter experiences that the whole family can enjoy together, and some new events like our Boo at the Zoo Halloween event and our Breakfast with the Elephants events.
Does the zoo have anything planned for the school holidays, seeing that there are so many kids walking around?
For these school holidays, we've gone potty at Perth Zoo. We're celebrating spring and the start of the warmer weather, so people can come in and do some potting of plants and some spring planting activities. There's also a zoo, poo and ewe trail that the kids can enjoy and learn about what we feed the animals, what types of poo they do, and learn a little bit more about each and every animal. We also have some new arrivals. We have some new baby ringtail lemurs, a critically endangered species that were born just the other week, and our tree kangaroo baby, the first to be born at the zoo in 36 years.
What makes Perth Zoo a must-visit tourist attraction?
I think what makes Perth Zoo a must-see tourist attraction is that we're so close to the city. You can get here by ferry or you can park here at the zoo. We are also home to over 1,500 different animals from a whole range of different species, animals that you can't see anywhere else in Western Australia, including some of our native species that many people don't even know about or don't get to see in their daily lives.
What are some of the native species that you have here at the Perth Zoo?
Some of the native species we have are the numbat, the WA fauna emblem. We also have the critically endangered western swamp tortoise, which is one of the most endangered reptiles anywhere in the world, and tiny little dibblers, a carnivorous marsupial.
Do you see many tourists visit the zoo, or is it mostly the locals that visit the zoo?
The majority of the visitors that come to Perth Zoo are local visitors, and it's great to see that locals are loving their local zoo. So 86% of our visitation come from WA, the rest are from interstate or international.
What's been most popular at the zoo lately in terms of like the animal enclosures or encounters or the exhibits or activities?
Most popular at the zoo lately by far was our dinosaur exhibition, Jurassic Park. In terms of our animals here at the zoo, our baby tree kangaroo Mian has definitely been a highlight for visitors. It's the first tree kangaroo to be born at Perth Zoo in 36 years. And our elephants, Trisha, who's a bit of a personality, and her herd mate Permai and Saput are definitely favourites here at Perth Zoo. To attract visitors to Perth Zoo, we're always constantly changing things. So we have new animals that come in, we have new experiences so that people can get up close and personal to wildlife and really create that connection. And we have a whole load of educational activities as well. So children can come in, they can have their school lessons here, they can learn about the animals, and then they can see them here at the zoo as well.
If you're planning to visit Perth Zoo during these school holidays, there's a free shuttle bus service which operates from Lamb Street to the zoo, running from 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. until October 9. Michael So reporting for Undercurrent.
Perth is an ever-evolving and growing city. Let's find out how you feel about Perth and what's special to you about your own city.
Today we're taking to the streets of Perth to find out what people think about the growth Perth is experiencing and how Perth can maintain its identity as the city expands and turns into a bigger city.
Yeah, it's got kind of a bigger city feel, or it's starting to, I think, and I kind of heard it was just a desert city in the middle of nowhere, so this isn't exactly what you'd think getting here.
I think it's a great city. It's got good weather. Obviously, the more people there are, the better it'll be.
I think Perth is becoming more and more multicultural. I love seeing the different nations. We actually met 2 guys from Pakistan just before this, and it's been really cool meeting people from all over the world here in Perth.
I think Perth is getting greater and greater.
But there's really nothing for people to do after about 6 o'clock. Everything closes down. You look around and it's dead. They should have more places like little cafes sitting out here instead of just having shops everywhere, because wherever there's shops after 6 o'clock there's nothing. So a bit more like Northbridge in the city. That would be much better, I think.
I think the outer suburbs of Perth are actually sort of more cultural and more interesting places to visit. There's a lot more cafes and bars and cool things happening outside of the city centre.
What do you like about Perth?
The beaches.
Yeah. Any particular beach?
Scarborough.
I love the beach. I love surfing, so it's good to be near Margaret River, so I can go down south. There's amazing waves down there, one of the best places in the world. I've been to Europe a few times, so compared to there, it's a lot warmer, and I love that.
Yeah, we like Rottnest Island. It's close to Perth, and the beach is also very pretty.
I like the outdoor lifestyle. Obviously the sun's great here, and probably the beach. And just everyone's pretty laid back, so it's really a good work-life balance.
But the coffee scene is just unreal. And I think it's just the little things, the cafes, the coffee scene, just the little things that make Perth Perth.
It's a little country town still, and I hope that never changes.
What do you think Perth can do as it's growing to keep the community feel and perhaps even bring communities closer?
Maybe more events, free events.
I would say sport is a big thing that brings Aussies together.
I suppose you got to have more inclusive places to meet, I think. So places that are good for everyone, young people and old people, or whatever you want to define as different people. So I think that's kind of a key, because you want people to feel like they belong.
They should start implementing more community gardens. That'd be good.
I've noticed that they've got the city farmers there, things like that, where you have a mix of nature and people, and get kids in to do planting and things like that. They were almost going to close it a few years back. I'm glad they didn't. That's the sort of thing you want. Instead of moving those out to the suburbs, have them here in the city, and it attracts people. And, I avoid the city now. I go around it to get to my work, which is down the road there, because I don't like how difficult they've made it for pedestrians. So the more people you've got in the city, the more the life you have in the city. So if they make it easier for people and harder for cars, I reckon that would be the way to do it.
Bas Tadros for Undercurrent.
Stay with us for more Undercurrent after a short break. Welcome back to Undercurrent. This week, a report stated 1 in 5 Perth homes were sold at a loss last quarter. Sandy Di Rocco met with industry professionals to discuss the current Perth property market.
Conversation on everyone's lips today is Australia's property market. I'm joined by David Weir today, who is absolutely outstanding at what he does, and we're going to go have a chat to him now. David, how are you today?
Oh, fantastic, thanks.
So can you tell us a little bit about the market and where you see it going from where it is now?
Yeah, well, it's as a lot of people would realise that Perth's had a few challenges over the last couple of years. The market at the moment is probably slight oversupply out there and has been for a while, but there's still plenty of properties being sold if the properties are appropriately marketed and if the pricing is appropriate and lined up with what the property is and where it is. We're still finding there's a lot of buyers out there. There's a lot of people looking for good deals. And good deal doesn't necessarily mean that it's a fire sale. It just means getting the right property at a reasonable price.
And do you believe that that the prices are going to go up from now on, or do you think that we've kind of hit rock bottom in the market?
That seems to be one of the biggest questions on everybody's lips at the moment, and for the last few months a lot of people predicting that it's possibly not going up in a hurry. However, having said that, there are some suburbs in Perth which are performing quite well, and other suburbs, if there's a huge oversupply, and that can put a bit of pressure in the downward direction. But we're still seeing a lot of buyers out there, especially at the moment coming into spring, weather's finding up. So yeah, we're certainly seeing a lot of results coming out of recent last few weeks too.
Now, there's been a lot of news across the media that that houses are being sold at less than what they were purchased for. Is this true?
Depending when the property was previously purchased, if you go back 20 years, then the property's being sold for a lot more than what people have paid for. If you go back 2-3 years, then possibly some of those will be selling for less than what owners have paid for them.
So, David, what advice would you have for sellers?
If you clean the properties up, just make sure you de-weed, detail them, make sure the windows are clean, smells great, declutter, and just make sure you've got an appropriate pricing on your property. Use a great marketing campaign and a really good, leading real estate agent. Some of the agents out there have been around for quite some time, and doesn't mean to say some of the fresh people in the industry have a lot of enthusiasm. So just use a reputable real estate agent in the area, and just detail your property, present it well.
So we're continuing along our quest today for real estate and building. I'm actually joined by the owner and director of Precision Homes, Robert Lazarevsky. Rob, how are you doing today?
I'm very well, Sandy. Yourself?
Not too bad, thank you. What's your ideas on how the market's going, and how's it affecting your business right now?
Well, the market isn't very good, obviously. All builders are feeling it at the moment. Although there are some positive factors to that, like there's probably no better time to build.
What ups and downs have you seen in the market over the years, and how's it affected your work?
I think after the boom, there hasn't been much capital gain in property. It's been increasing and decreasing. I think we're going through a correction in the actual pricing of property. I believe probably in about 5 to 10 years, I believe things will get back to where there'll be steady growth.
So yourself as a boutique builder, do you think you've got a lot to compete with the big guys out there?
Look, us being a smaller company hasn't really affected us a great deal. We deliver excellent work, which has brought us repeat business through existing clients and new clients.
So there you have it, folks. Some great advice from people in the bizzo. We had David Weir, property guru, and Rob Lazarevsky from Precision Homes, WA. I'm Sandy DeRocco and reporting for Undercurrent.
As Western Australia comes closer to legalising cannabis for medicinal purposes, it seems the public is still undecided on its stance. Bas Tadros met with Damien Donoghue to discuss some of the implications.
I'm here with Damien Donoghue. He's a health educator and the Super Health founder. Damien, welcome.
Hello, Bas. Thank you.
What's your view on this debate around cannabis for medicinal use?
I think it's going to be very useful for us as an alternative medicine. We're seeing lots and lots of feedback now coming through, people getting results with it. So I think it's going to be a very beneficial thing when it finally comes through.
So why would Perth need cannabis for medicinal purposes?
I think we've come to a time where pharmaceutical medicine is not necessarily fulfilling all our needs, especially with the epilepsy. We're seeing more and more epilepsy now, and especially the children, we're seeing, they're not responding to these medications. They're loading them up with many different medications, not getting results.
Where is medical cannabis providing the most impact, you feel, in the health realm?
We're seeing it's anti-seizure, so it's helping with the epilepsy. Cancer as well is another big one. Most often we're using it to increase appetite, because people on chemo drugs, they've got no appetite, they can vaporise some herb, and then all of a sudden their appetite comes back. That's great, and I think it's very useful, but what I'm really interested in is how is this herb, this medicine, going to be used to reverse cancer? More and more studies are coming through now saying that this medicine is actually killing cancer cells. So I think there's a lot of hope for us there to actually grow that area. There's so many other things, from anxiety, insomnia, post-traumatic stress disorder. These are all common ones that are coming up now. Autism, that are benefiting from the use of this herb.
How are people utilising this medicinal cannabis?
There's many ways of consuming. A lot of people don't want to get high. They don't want to experience the high. What can be done in that situation is suppositories made with the herb in the suppository, and people will just insert that into the rectum, and they won't actually get high from that. It bypasses the liver, so it doesn't get metabolised. The psychoactives are not taking effect, so people don't get high. That's one way of using it. Another one for quick release of the medicine from the herb is by vaporising, which is a little device that heats it but doesn't burn it. So it doesn't combust the herb. It's just releasing all the essential oils and the medicine off the herb. So that's a way of getting quick reaction. You could have anxiety, vaporise some herb and have it balance you very quickly. There's another way of ingesting, so people are making different oils, extracts and taking in capsules or in liquid form, and they're ingesting it.
It's likened to like a probiotic, or is it likened to like a herb or more of a vitamin perhaps?
I think we could compare it to a plant compound, and we could look at it like a vitamin. As an example, if we are deficient in vitamin C, we take vitamin C supplement. Our body's made up of cannabinoid receptor sites, and we need cannabinoids. But due to modern day toxicity and the environment, we're not producing enough cannabinoids. So we can actually get them from a plant source. One of the plants that contain huge amounts of cannabinoids is cannabis. We're supplementing with that particular nutrient.
So obviously it's not synthetic, or it's not manufactured in a lab. It's more or less derived from a natural plant source.
Yes. So the best way to get the plant is grown organically in soil, out in the sun, and producing a high level of medicine that way. As it's in its natural form, our body recognises the plant and the medicine from the plant like that. There's more and more pharmaceutical companies stepping up now trying to synthesise the active components of cannabis. And I think that's going to create some problems because we're already seeing bad effects. People are having reactions to these synthesised forms of cannabinoids. So sticking with the natural plant-based way is definitely the way I'd recommend.
What else has come about in your research that you think is quite interesting?
Just the overall amount of different conditions that it addresses. That's probably the most interesting thing. Is it goes from everything from epilepsy, cancer, autism, anxiety, stress, insomnia. It just keeps going on and on. Lyme's disease, people are reversing many different diseases, arthritis. So it addresses so many problems, and the reason it addresses so many is because we have those receptor sites throughout our whole body.
Bas Tedros from Undercurrent.
Thank you for watching this episode of Undercurrent. Don't forget you can watch us online at wtvperth.com.au. Take care, and we'll see you next week.